everyone, my name is Zara and this is Jamie and we are from Made for More. Today we're going to be talking about anxiety. So this word anxiety, you might have heard it used loads. You might actually feel like you suffer with anxiety, but what anxiety is at its root is a perceived threat or a fear of something that is coming in. Anxiety is actually never about the present moment. When we feel anxious or we have symptoms that might feel of anxiety, it's about something that could happen in the future, or we're remembering something that has happened in the past. It is not about the present moment. And when we think about those feelings of anxiety, it's a perceived threat coming into us, and we go into this fight or flight mode. And what we want to do through this workshop is actually give you some techniques, give you maybe some language for some of the things that you're feeling, but also we give you some techniques to bring your anxiety levels down. We are at this fight and flight mode. We want to bring you down to this thing called rest and digest. That might seem like a big term, or you might not know what that is. You don't need to, but that's what our aim is through this workshop.
Great, and we want you to be involved. So again, you're going to be getting into groups today and answering some questions. So the first question we want you to answer is, what are the different symptoms you think you would associate with anxiety? Write down as many as you can in your group, have a discussion with them, and even see which group has the biggest list. Off you go.
So you might have your list sitting in front of you, hopefully. We asked some of our friends here at Made for More for some of the things that they struggle with, some of the symptoms of anxiety that they feel, and here's what they came up with.
Yeah, so I sometimes get butterflies in my stomach, and then other times I can feel like I'm going through it.
I sometimes get really dizzy and find it hard to sleep.
So we like sweaty and shaky hands, and then just start to feel a bit sick.
Definitely palpitations, like my heart just beats out of my chest.
Maybe my hands would start shaking, and my heart beats really fast.
That's great. Hopefully you were able to chat about lots of different symptoms that you might feel or experience when you're struggling with anxiety. Do you know there's actually over 100 different symptoms that can manifest themselves because of anxiety? For me, it's the butterflies in the stomach that just come, and all day long I am not eating anything because they are just churning away, and that's what anxiety does to me. What about you, Zara? What does anxiety do to you?
For me, it's a bit of a sweaty palm. No one likes to be the person with the sweaty palm, but I get very, very sweaty palms.
But yeah, there's lots of different symptoms that you can struggle with. And again, just like a lot of mental health issues, there is no one size fits all.
I know, and one of the things is for you, we identify and we realise that you might actually be really struggling with anxiety, and it might have taken over your life. So that's why we want to come and chat about that today. One of the things that I find really, really helpful is looking at this analogy. So when we feel anxious, a lot of the time it's because of the thoughts that are coming into our head. I use this analogy of a train, and it could just be helpful for you. So say you're standing at the train station, you're standing on the platform. I don't know where you are in your school, but let's just say Belfast. So I'm standing in the train station in Belfast, and I want to go to the North Coast. I want to go to Portrush for the day. So I'm standing at the station, I'm waiting for that train that says Portrush in the front. The train to Bangor comes into the station. I see it there, I'm standing on the platform, I see the train for Bangor coming, but I don't get on. Why do I not get on the train to Bangor when I want to go to Portrush? Because the train to Bangor does not take me to a destination that I want to go. If I got on that train to Bangor, it takes me to a destination that I don't want to be in, because I'm in Bangor and I want to be in Portrush. The train to Portrush takes me to a destination that I want to go to. It's fun and it's good and it's healthy for me to be there. It doesn't take me to Bangor where none of my friends are that day. It's the same when we're thinking about anxious thoughts, okay? We're standing on that platform. In our minds, we don't get to control what thoughts come in. Whether they're healthy or unhealthy, we don't get to control that. What we do get to control is which one we take on board, which ones we actually decide to step on and go down that analogy. Are you going to step on a train of thought that takes you to a destination you don't want to go? Maybe one that makes you feel highly anxious, maybe one that makes you feel scared, maybe a train that will make you feel very depressed, low mood, whatever that looks like for you. What we need to do before that train takes you to a destination you don't want to go, we need to stop the thought. Okay, so for example, say you have an exam coming up and you're revising for all of your exams, and you're sitting there and you're looking at your sheet and you're just thinking, I'm not smart, I'm clever, I'm not clever, I can't do this. So that thought comes into your head. Instead of just catching it and just saying, well, do you know what, I'm maybe not, but I'm going to revise, and this is why I'm going to do it. I'll maybe make my plan, and this is where we're going to go with this. What we do is we overthink, and suddenly it's, well, I'm not smart. If I was only as smart as that person, I should maybe not do this. And our stress and our anxiety levels start to build and build and build. So what we need to do is we need to just catch it, not step on that train, so that we don't go to a destination we don't want to go to. If that is you, there's this really good app that the NHS have, and it's called Catch It. So it actually trains and helps us, because it's really hard to do that. You know, I can say that all day long, catch a thought that comes in, but we've all been there, we've all gone to a destination we don't want to go. So what this does is it helps train us when those thoughts come in, what to do, really helpful pointers, and it's a really good app if that is something you struggle with.
That's brilliant. Thanks so much, Sarah. And what we want you to do now is to start thinking about what are some of the things that cause you anxiety. How can we already start to plan ahead to think, well, what are those things, and how can I catch it before it takes me to a destination that I don't want to be at? So again, in your groups, we just want you to sit and chat and make some notes about all the different things going on in your life and the lives of your friends around you that could cause anxiety. We asked our friends and Made for More, what causes you anxiety? And this is what they had to say.
Maybe some home situations. So, for example, my family might not have my family might have financial problems, and this can cause me some stress.
Certain social situations can cause me a lot of anxiety, but probably the biggest one would be exams.
That's great. Hopefully you were able to discuss and chat about all the different things that can cause you anxiety. And Zara, I'm just wondering, what's the main thing that causes you anxiety in your life?
I feel like I get very anxious anytime I kind of don't have control over any situation that arises. That causes me quite high levels of anxiety.
Yeah, and that maybe sounds familiar to a lot of you sitting there in your groups. And the reality is, for a lot of us, a lack of control is one of the biggest things that impacts our levels of anxiety. And one of the ways that we like to try and process that at Made for More is to do a thing called the circle of control. And we want you to do that in your groups right now. And you'll see in your screen now the circle of control. 2 circles. The inner circle is all the things that are close to you that you can control, while the outer circle is filled with things that are outside of your control. And what we want you to do is to start thinking about how you can focus on those things close to you and let go of the things that you cannot control. So in your groups, what I would love you to do is to draw your 2 circles. And I want you to think about exams and the process of exams and all the stress and anxiety that comes with that. And in your inner circle, write down all the things that you know you can control, that you are in control of. And then on the outside circle, write all the things that you cannot control. And just chat with the person beside you and maybe compare your circles to see what is different and maybe learn from each other. We're going to give you 5 minutes to do that. Off you go.
So guys, I hope you found that helpful, and right now you'll see coming up on the screen is one that we use here in Made for More. So let's go through that together and you can follow along with the one that you guys have made. So let's look firstly at the outer circle. So the outer circle are the things that you can't control. So let's take exams for example. You can't control the fact you have to do exams. They're there, you have to sit them, so that's what we can control. Another thing you can control is what question is going to come up. We don't know. You can prepare as much as you can. Teachers can help you, but you do not know the exact question that's going to be there. So those, for example, are 2 things that you can control. Inner circle, let's look. So things might be out of our control, but there's some things that are within our control as well. You can control, are you going to have a spare pen? What would happen, for example, if you were doing an English essay and you ran out of ink in your pen? That wouldn't be great. So what you can do to lower levels of anxiety of that, you can bring a spare pen. You can plan to actually be prepared in the morning so you're not arriving at your exam in this big rush. You can leave your house early, you can make a plan, lay stuff out the night before. You can also revise, you can make a revision timetable. All of these things are within your control. So you might be anxious about exams, this might seem like this big topic, but when we break it down into simple things, actually there's so much within your control and so many things you can do to help you with those levels of anxiety. Another really helpful tool, so at the start we talked about anxiety is when we get into this heightened fight or flight mode. What we want to do when we feel anxious is to bring our nervous system down to this space of rest and digest. And another tool we use here at Made for More, and a good thing that you can practice if you feel like you're anxious, is try and practice counting back from 100 in threes. That might seem a bit strange, so why don't you check out some of our friends here at Made for More doing that.
100, 97, 94, 91, 88, 85, 82.
So 100, 97, 94, 91, 88.
So 100, 97, 94, 91, 88.
So 100, 97, 94, 91, 89, 86.
79, 76, 73, 70.
197, 95, 92. Oh, I was so confident.
Yeah, right. 85, 82, 79.
67, 64, 61, 58, 55.
85, 82, 70.
52, 49, 46, 43, 40.
83. Is that wrong?
74. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong.
37, 34, 31, 28, 25.
9, 76, 73, 60. Oh, 70.
22, 19, 16, 13, 10, 7, 4, 1, 0.
As you can see, it's maybe not as easy for everyone, but what it does in that moment as you start counting backwards is you're actually just retraining your brain. You're switching off from that heightened sense of anxiety, of the perceived perception of fear, and actually allowing your brain to focus on a very simple task. And the more you do that, the more often you practice it, your brain will actually realize, wait a second, they're trying to relax right now.
Yeah.
They're trying to switch off, and I'm going to allow them to do that. So why not try it yourself? But we've loved just chatting through all the different strategies and ways that we can reduce anxiety. But one of the biggest things we want you to remember is no matter what you're struggling with, just talk to someone. Let them know you're struggling, and that can be one of the best things we can do to improve our mental health.